The whole experience was definitely a lot more difficult than I expected. I mean, just from the get-go, we had the 11-mile hike, which was something that, you've never seen on the show before. So, there wasn't water to get into, to bathe, or anything like that, and the temperature was outrageous. So it was way more difficult than I expected. But at the same time, going through it, I was surprised that, I had so much energy and that I didn't get injured. So even though it was, technically harder than before, I was amazed at how well my body was able to adapt to the whole situation. I think from someone watching at home, it's next to impossible to just describe how difficult it is. You can't understand what it's like to be out there in 114-degree weather and doing a challenge for 2 hours in the sun with no water, no shade, and having to give it everything you've got. And it's not like, you think at home when you go out and exercise, it's like you've rested beforehand, you've eaten a good meal, and then you go out and work out, and then you come back home and you take a shower. Out there's no breaks. There's no going into air conditioning and taking a break. There's no going home and getting a meal to make yourself feel better. You don't even get a glass of water. You're drinking charcoal water that's been burned on the fire, and you have to drink it, or you're going to be too dehydrated to do anything out there. And you can't go dip in the water or you'll get eaten by crocodiles. So there's no comforts at all, and you can't know what it is until you're actually out there doing it. So the best you can do is try and explain it to someone, but really, you just have to just go out in the woods with absolutely nothing and live there for as long as you can and see if you can take it. I was really surprised at how well I held up. If I, thinking before, like right when we first heard we had the 11-mile trek, it was like, are we going to have to camp in the middle of the jungle? You're not supposed to just lay down on the jungle floor. There's snakes, there's scorpions, there's spiders. We don't have a shelter. We have a limited amount of clothing. If it pours rain on you, you can't dry off, So I thought for sure that we'd be, like all of us, I thought we'd be getting sprained ankles. I thought we'd be, having scorpion bites or snake bites. And so, I think partly we were lucky on the jungle trek that no one got more injured than they did barreling through. But I was really surprised afterwards that I wasn't really, I was exhausted in some ways, but I wasn't like sore. I didn't have any major injuries. I didn't have blisters. It's kind of, I was amazed that I was in, I felt like I was in relatively good shape, especially compared to my teammates. All the guys were throwing up afterwards and had heat exhaustion. So I think the women really showed how much stronger we were at kind of the endurance strength stuff. I'm definitely disappointed that I couldn't have stayed in the game. I was going strong when I got voted out. I wasn't feeling weak. I wasn't sick. I was doing great at challenges. And it's, in some ways I'm glad I went out before I did anything stupid or really screwed up. But at the same time, it's like, I want my team to vote me off because I blew it at a challenge, that I did something stupid. I don't want to be told, you're too smart, we're voting you off. So I wish I could have done more because I was ready to be out there for 39 days. I wasn't ready to come back. For me, the corn tasted great at the start. I would have eaten anything. But then once it started to go through everyone's system, it was just in one end, out the other. And that was so miserable that no one wanted to eat the corn anymore. And then you're really starving out there trying to do these challenges and not having anything to eat. So it's, you can't describe it to someone, sitting at home with all their food, I would have never known what it was like. I wouldn't, nothing prepared me for it. There just wasn't anything you could do. You can fast for one day, but that doesn't compare to it. You're out there 11 days, and, I think people can realize it more when, here we are losing more than a pound a day out there because you're sweating so much in the humidity. It's complete starvation. I really walked away from the whole experience a lot stronger. I realized that, kind of a lot of limits of what I thought I could do were just very much in my mind, and that when I actually go out there and do it, there's so much more that I can accomplish if I just kind of don't stop myself from doing it mentally. And the thing, too, that I really learned is, like, I mean, how strong women can be out there versus men. I mean, even I really thought that, guys are so much more physically strong, but when we did that 11-mile jungle trek, it was really the women that kind of came out on top. And Jim, too, I mean, he was the oldest one in the group, and he was faring better than, the young, strong, healthy guys. They were the ones that were bent over with heat exhaustion. So I was impressed with the women that I met out there, with Cindy and Danny and Margaret, and just how strong we all were.